You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the ropes. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Welcome to a deep dive into the unknown with our guide, Ra, and his co-host, Marcus and Sandee. The unknown is only scary until it becomes known. You get to deep dive into yourself and ask yourself embodying questions that nobody else gets to hear, because you're asking your higher beingness. You get to tap in, tune in to yourself, and then turn yourself on. So I attune myself right now, this moment, to the creative impulses in me that seek to be me. That the divine is going to move through and give you wisdom and understanding. And guess what? You get to make it yours or not. It's not pushed on you. It's not forced on you. You get to make a discerning account of what it's going to do for your highest and greatest good, for your story. Because if anybody has not told you yet, you are the writer, the director. You are the set dresser. You are everything that you need to be to have the story be possible. Everything, even down to creating the extras and the featured extras and the day players in your story. You get to write it and rewrite it and rewrite it again. And all Ross says is, I want to give you the cheat sheet. Because we've done it already. That's what Ross says. We've done it already. We did what you guys are doing. And now we're 6 density complexes. We're no longer body, mind, spirit complex. Spirit complex. We did it. So we can tell you, you can do it too. Over to you, Marcus.
Hydration check for everybody. Make sure you guys are hydrating throughout the day, drinking clean water to help your system. And hydration is also really helpful for our mental energy as well. Whenever we are learning, picking up on information, downloading, and transmitting. So it's a nice reminder, hydrate very well, and continue to have clean water resources. And if you are curious on any very self-sustaining and affordable home water systems, you can always reach out to me. and I can direct you on how to utilize shungite or shungite water at home, as that is something I've been doing for about 6 years and has been my main water system. So with that being said, everybody enjoy that episode 46, Studying Beyond Limitations, the Raw Material Law of One. Over to you.
All right, here we go. You know, I got a new deck of Oracle cards. So I'm going to split the deck. And we're going to see what Ra says. I'm going to allow Ra to be part of this deck. See, right here? I'm going to give him, them, they, the part of us, the ability and the availability, and be open. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And here we go. Here's the deck. We're going to split it. The card says, slow down to center yourself. Intuitive guidance is heightened, more accurate, and appears more often when life moves at a saner pace. You define your sane. Your sixth sense is less responsive when your energy is pulled in too many directions. It's all right to be multifaceted and multi-versed, but slow down into them. Find out which one you want to focus on, and then give that attention. When your energy is pulled in too many directions, rushing around and constantly multitasking and swamped by responsibility, you get overwhelmed. Just slow it down. Don't stop it. Like the divine always tells me, slow your roll, Sandra. Slow, and here's the next sentence. Slow your roll for better mystical attunement and to stretch. Oh, here it is. Time. To stretch time. Can you see that? Slow your roll. All right. So I already hear Rod telling me, slow your roll, Sandra. Let's move through it. And here we go. We're still in session 54. That was done May 29th, 1981. Ra channeled this. The questioner says, okay, so I'm going to go back one because we stopped at a certain point. We're going to bring you forward. The questioner says, do all mind, body, spirit complexes in the entire creation have 7 energy centers? Ra says, I am Ra. These energy centers are in potential in microcosm, or not micro, macrocosm. See how I need to slow my roll? From the beginning of creation by the logos. Earth consciousness is a logos. The moon is a moon consciousness is a logos. Every planet is a logos. And we are sub-logoses in Earth consciousness logos. Coming out of timelessness, all is prepared. This is so for the infinite creation. The questioner asked another question. Then will I assume that the creator, in its intelligent appraisal of the ways of knowing itself, created the concept of 7 areas of knowing? Is this correct? And as you see, I'm looking down. Here's the book. I am Ra. This is partially correct. The logos creates light. The nature of this light thus creates the nature of the catalytic and energetic levels of experiment. I need to even slow more. I'm so excited. I get so excited when the logos creates light. The nature of this light thus creates the nature of the catalytic and energetic levels of experience in the creation. Thus, it is that highest of all honor / duty that given to those of the next octave is the supervision of light in its manifestations during the experimental times, if you will, your cycles. It's honor and duty, honor / duty. You can be in honor of it and in duty of using your light to create. This helps me to really understand, because I didn't understand the creation of the Bible. I mean, I understood the dark, and then the dark becoming light, and then there was light. I understood that. That vibrated really, really significant with me. But the rest of the creation story, that God created everything up to day 7, and then God rested. Well, here we are, things are still creating, so what happened? The story, just for me as a teeny bopper or young kid or whatever you want to call, just dropped. The ball dropped, and I said, what more? This says, what more? We became the sub-locoses that kept creating. We either create for honor, and honor not meaning like the Knights of the Round Table, but it's an honor. It's a pleasure. It's a gift for us to do, for our higher beings to take our glorious bodies and take a ride around Earth consciousness. They enjoy it. My hands are shaking. It's an honor. And then once our higher beings get here, they download, implode us with duty. But it's not duty like we have to do it. It's you find out what your gifts are, and you feel the requirement of yourself, if you want to call it duty, to bring yourself to your story. It's your story. It's your light. You get to shine it or not. People want you to dim your light so they can shine. You get to decide if you want to do that or not. If you want to go, oh, I don't want any more of that story. I want to shine, and I want to let them shine. So I'm going to tell them they can shine on this part of the playground, and I'll shine over here. And I'll still show you unconditional love. Back to you, Marcus.
Well. I don't have anything at the moment. I think we just continue along.
Pardon?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I didn't hear that last part. I think you said you just needed to think a moment and for me to continue.
No, I
Is that
said
what you
I don't have anything at the moment. We can continue along.
Okay, we will. He's about to download. He just yawned, and that's either Ra getting ready to come through or the divine coming through. All right, so here we go. We must need to read more. So the questioner says, I will make another statement. The mind-body-spirit complex may choose, comma, take the pause, because of the first distortion, the mental configuration that is sufficiently displaced from the configuration of the intelligent energy in a particular frequency or color of in-streaming energy, so as to block a portion of in-streaming energy in that particular frequency or color. Is this correct? Ooh, that's deep. That's a run-on sentence, no less, but that's deep. Ra says, I am Ra, and simply says, yes. Because of distortion, which is part of the polarity, we're actually able as higher beings with this form body and this conscious mind. Though people may tell you, especially those that have awakening, and we're so spiritual that we tell people, we look at other people and say, oh, they're sleeping, oh, they're unconscious, we must know more than them, and then we start to give them something that they need to think about, right? But the divine plus Ra, as I was the last couple of weeks has been showing me, no one is unconscious. We are very much conscious of living and having life and actually thinking. We may not be aware that we have a higher being that's a component in it. And as our higher being comes out of the amnesia of being in a lower polarity, it starts to have conversations with you. And not everybody understands that. A lot of people have been told if they're hearing voices in their head, in their body, you need to go seek out a shrink. There's something wrong with you. And then there's many other people who are moving from religious basis into a more spiritual one-on-one basis with the divine and beginning to understand that the divine is within them. And learning how to allow that energy to come in within them. But distortion is always going to be there. You sift and sort through the distortions of polarity. In order to know black, you must know a white. In order to know what a higher polarity is, what love or peace or unconditional understanding is, you might have to dabble in the lower polarities. Some people come from hate, so much hate that they start to break open and understand what unconditional love is, or even what a finite love is. And some people can see auras. They can see the colors. They can see distortion, and they can see a person moving from distortion into a color of understanding and wisdom. Ra just simply says yes to the question. The questioner says, can you give me an idea of the maximum percentage of this energy it is possible to block in any one color? I am Ra. There may be in an entity's pattern of in-streaming energy a complete blockage in any energy or color or combination of energies or color. All Ra just said was, you can have a complete blockage in your root chakra and still be having a chakra, your sacral, be moving along swimmingly. You can have all three of your lower chakras cleansed and still have blockage in your heart chakra. Men for a time utilize their lower chakras, bypassed their heart chakra, and used all the other chakras. And because they bypassed their heart chakra, that's where it's believed that war always stems. Kind of like Tina Turner's song, What's Love Got to Do with It? In societies that block the heart chakra for whatever reason and use all their other chakras, it's not balanced yet. That's all Ra is saying. We can be actively okay in certain chakras, but we for whatever reason, we're not balanced in one or more. That's all. You just have to find out where your balance is, where the distortion is. It's a story. It can be something from your childhood. Maybe you saw mommy and daddy fight all the time, and because mommy and daddy always ended the fight with, if I wouldn't do this if I didn't love you, and you see, you equate fighting with love. That blocks a chakra. It makes a distortion. Or it allows distortion to be part of your story. It's the same as a husband that beats his wife and tells his wife afterwards, I wouldn't do this if you weren't this. Then she takes that story and she equates it to, oh, this is what love is. But it's distorted, and it's not vibrating or balancing with what unconditional heart chakra is. So the questioner says, okay, with a period, then I assume that the first distortion is the motivator or what allows the blockage. Is this correct? Ra says, I am Ra. We wish no quibbling, but prefer to avoid the use of terms such as the verb, and then in parentheses, to allow. Free will does not allow, nor would predetermine disallow experimental distortion. Rather, the law of confusion offers a free reach to the energies to each mind, body, spirit. With free will, you get to learn. The law of one is allowing, but the law of one is allowing how you learn through your distortions. There's no right or wrong to it. I had a dream this morning coming off the crest. I was in a vibrational place with earth consciousness in a different form, but I knew it was me. And earth consciousness, she merged her air, she merged her water, she merged her fire, and she merged her earth to take a form in a place that we were at. And I was sobbing because I was telling her, I unconditionally love you, but the story has gone on too long and they're about to do this again. What do you want me to do? Earth consciousness said, do what you've always done. For all these, she used the word millennia. Continue to love me. The story is going on because I allow free will. It must continue. Just hold me. And then I woke up. We're all part of earth consciousness. We're all part of her logos. We're sub-logoses. She found out that when she shifts, we will eventually shift. When she evolves, we will eventually evolve. And every channeled entity that has shared with us knows this and is always dropping little cliff notes for us. No right or wrong to it. The questioner says, oh, there's one more part that Ross said. The verb to allow would be considered pejorative in that it suggests a polarity between right and wrong or allow and not allow. This may seem in minuscule point. However, to our best way of thinking, it bears some weight. So what Ross said is you're putting the weight on us that we're giving you permission to move through right and wrong, left and right, up and down. Duality was created that way. We're not saying yes or no to you. We're not giving you permission. We're not allowing or not allowing. You're doing. You're suggesting to yourself. The universe, the way the law of one created the universe will say yes to you. There will never be a no. So whatever you're thinking, whether it's a negative or a positive, if you're asking for abundance, but you're not making a discernment to the universe what you want abundance of, and you're constantly thinking about lack, then the universe says yes. Your infinite ability to think about lack, yes, we'll give you that. There's no allowing or not allowing. Guess what? Put in parentheses a capital I and S. It just is. That's all Ra is saying. Don't dump on us your decisions. Don't lean on us. We did this because, oh, God must have chose that for me. No, you chose it for yourself. We didn't not allow it, and we didn't allow it. The questioner says, thank you. It bears weight to my own way of thinking also. I appreciate what you have told me. Now, with the comma, I would like to then consider the origin of catalysts. First, we have the condition of body, mind, and spirit complex, which has a function of the first distortion, which reached a condition of blockage or partial blockage of one or more energy centers. I will assume that the catalyst is necessarily only if there is a least partial blockage of one center. Is this correct? Ross says no. Simple no with a period. Questioner says, can you tell me why? I am Ra. While it is a primary priority to activate or unblock each energy center, it is also a primary priority at that point to begin to refine the balances between the energies so that each tone of the chord of total vibratory beingness resonates in clarity, tune, and harmony with each other energy. This balancing, tuning, and harmonizing of the self is most centered to the more advanced or adept mind-body complex. Each energy may be activated without the beauty that is possible through the disciplines and appreciations of personal energy, or what you might call the deeper personality or soul identity. Back to you, Marcus.
I love
This is
the talk on chakras, and I'm just kind of revisiting the chakras and what they mean to us. And it's also really cool how they go into the different colors and the different rays. And something that I came across yesterday in a midday sacred space that I held was a video about Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, and it was talking about their connection to the blue ray, and also being from Sirius as well. And it's really interesting and unique when you go into the rays of light and you start to study what each ray represents and what they mean when it comes to this world. And when you kind of dive into these rays of light, you then are able to kind of have a understanding of how the universe is broken down and how it's put together through these rays of light. And then with that, you get to experience and bring in the qualities and the divine traits that these different rays carry. And then for some of us, our lineage connects to a certain ray of light. So you can actually become aware of what ray of light you primarily carry and you primarily work with in this earth grid. So I know there's quite a bit of people that are aware that, you know, they connect with the blue ray. There's people that are aware that they connect with the gold ray, and there's the green ray and much more. And it's really cool too how, like, universally there's a correlation between all of these things, as in color, chakra, frequency, foods, and so much more. And what this really shows us is that the universe has been designed in a perfect symphony where things have been placed to fulfill a certain aspect of the universe, and then it's there for us, as in it's created by the creator to be experienced, and that experience ultimately, oh, this is interesting. Ushiyamaya tukuta imeyana sutu dayashi imeyana ku atiyana umana sitiya tu ikiyanata. So these forms and these rays are brought and created for us to experience in these realms. And what I'm hearing right now is it's not so much that we're changing those rays or that we're changing the objects. It's actually more so that we're changing our own mental consciousness. That's pretty tricky. Wow, that's deep. So basically what they're telling me right now is it may perceive to us that we are changing the outside world, when in essence, we are changing our mental vibration within ourselves. And there we go. So in essence, we're experiencing parallel multi-dimensional planes of all of these different things that exist. So all these things that exist have their own way of expressing through a certain dimensional perspective, depending upon where your perspective is vibrating. So when we change something that feels like it's on the outside of us, we're ultimately changing our mental vibration and altering our perspective of what it is that we're interacting with. And then we shift our perspective into another parallel universe that is already there and existing. It's not that we just assimilated it out of nowhere due to where we just thought. It's that it's already existing, and it's like we are just a character that's going through the different levels of the video game perspectives. Wow. I'm going to sit with that one for a while. I'm going to pass that one to you. Oof.
Ooh. The moment you started doing your light language, I felt a wave move up my centers, right? And the fact that he's sharing this with us, I know it's confirmation for me. I know it's. I also, when I was reading the Divine Design by Lori Ladd, the channeler, or the higher beings that were channeling to her to write this book, we're talking about waves of energy and how we move. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to find it really quickly. I did not know that this is what the divine wanted me to share, but I'm going to share it. What is the evolution of consciousness? Okay, and I found it pretty quickly. One is the evolution of consciousness that moves through us. It moves through us the same way Earth consciousness created, through intention and energy. Everything was created. Even the divine created everything that way. The divine creator, the one true creator that Ross speaks about, created with intention and energy. And the energy was just embodying what the one true creator wanted to see. And then it was. Okay. So the 4 steps of the evolution of consciousness is assimilation. You assimilate your energy. When you're having a shifting, you're shifting into a new energy, right? So let's say, here's the example that the divine wants to give. Your inner beingness is shifting. Your outside body might be staying the same, but your inner beingness is shifting. It begins to shift in acclimation. It's the first step. The physical form continuously receives high frequency light from the sun. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. As the light enters the form, as the light enters me, it begins to acclimate. And the word acclimate is spelled ACCILMATE. Acclimation occurs when the physical form slows down to the high frequency light to receive it into the body. The frequency of light is too high. If the frequency of light is too high for the body won't access the light and use it to shift into higher frequencies. The light will eventually dissolve from the body. If the body acclimates, it will settle into the physical body. The second is assimilation. That's spelled ASSIMILATION. Once the physical form acclimates to light, or you can call it color, or you can call it your chakras, the body begins to assimilate it. That means it takes it in. Assimilation occurs when the physical form integrates the higher frequency light into the lower frequency light within the body. The higher frequency light then either pushes the density or lowers frequency out of the body and merges the denser light into the higher frequency light. Either way, the physical form begins to increase its frequency as the lower density moves out of the form or is integrated into the higher light. Acclimation and assimilation, and this blew my mind, occur naturally. It blew my mind. Every time I read, I cannot tell you how many times I read this book, right? The physical body is designed to evolve. Blow my mind. We're designed to evolve. The scientists may have figured it out in this last later century, and blew our mind with their acknowledgement of it, right? But we've always been designed to evolve, even though this is talking about the experiment beginning in 5D, where we were more like beings. But this is still the assimilation, and the acclimation is still the process, right? Then there's tapping. And I know the first thing you think about is tapping your body. Tapping into the next dimensional field is an essential step in evolution. As the physical form holds more light, the human aspect, whether it's a 5D human or a 3D human, and the earth can feel and experience the next highest frequency and dimensional field. They, the ego and personality, must begin to tap in and experience the consciousness within the dimension. Right? And then the fourth thing is anchoring. As the physical form continues to acclimate, assimilate more light, and tapping into the next dimensional field, the physical form will anchor into that field. And okay, are you ready? The physical form must hold over 80% of the frequency of that dimensional field to anchor into the next dimensional field. So if you're about to shift from 3D into 4D, after you've acclimated and assimilated and tapped into, now you must anchor into a 4D with at least 80%. And guess what? When you anchor into 80% of 4D, your body and your conscious mind and your higher being are now in 4D, but able to access 3D. You consciously can see 3D and have a different, a higher conscious discernment about how you're moving in 3D. Blew my mind that the divine gave Marcus that at that moment. Back to you, Marcus.
I tell you what, I'm so grateful that over these years I have learned how to just be patient. As in, like, you know, if I don't have a clear message that's coming through me to share, then I will gratefully choose to pass for that moment. And, you know, it took a while to get to that phase. You know, a lot of times we want to just kind of blurt out first thing that comes to our mind, or just whatever the ego is wanting to say. And for me, I'm really learning, especially as a teacher, as someone with influence and somebody that people look to really hold the tongue when it comes to, you know, the purity or the message that's coming through. And a lot of times I used to just kind of try to think of something to say rather than allow the pure message to come through. So I'm just really grateful that I was able to just be patient, pass it back over, get a couple more dialogues in from Ra, and then that ignited and channeled through what was needed, which then led you to the divine design. It's just, it's so amazing. It pays off when we stay patient with spirit, guys. I'm telling you, it really pays off. But so I got something for us image wise, as I always do. And we're gonna start with, I'm gonna have two images. This first one is going to be showing us the chakras, but then along with the chakras, it is also going to be showing us something. See how the internet connection doesn't seem to be the best today, but maybe it will help us out here. All right. Can we see this pretty well? Let me see. There we are. Cool. Okay. Alrighty, so if you guys look at this image here, in this image, we have the 7 chakras. We also have some things such as the physical body, the soul, the spiritual bodies. And then we see some stuff also that's talking about the different elements. And if you look at the bottom, it says the 3 highest chakras are portals to the 3 spiritual bodies. The 3 lower chakras are portals to our 3 lowest bodies. Our heart is the portal to our soul, the center of our being. It looks like there's more on there, but I can't see it. But wow, that's awesome. So I teach about this quite a bit. And this is part of the human polarity when it comes to as above, so below. So as you guys can see here, there's 2 triangles. One triangle is pointing upwards, and it's at the top half of where the heart chakra is. And then you have the triangle pointing downwards at the bottom. And this is at the bottom half of where the heart chakra is. So this top triangle is going to be representing your spiritual bodies. Or you can also say your spiritual dimensions or your spiritual energy centers. And that's going to be your throat, your third eye, and your crown. And then with your lower 3 chakras, you have your physical bodies, or you could say your human earth bodies, or you can also say physical human energy centers. These energy centers are what connect us most deeply and most healthily to our physical human earth life. So this right here is showing us that we are the multidimensional bridge through these energy centers. And these energy centers are aligned with our human being, our physical human being. So therefore, everything that you're seeing here in this diagram, think of having yourself or a human being right there in the middle of all of it, aligned with the chakras. And then all those words and everything else is still there, corresponding to your human being. So what you may notice is if you're feeling blocked up in your lower chakras, then you can find yourself becoming top heavy, so to say. And what we mean by top heavy is you become too far into the light, too far into your spiritual realms. Because now that you're blocked up in your lower chakras, especially the root chakra, now you're ungrounded energetically from the earth grid. And when we get ungrounded from the earth grid, it makes it very difficult for our energy that streams through our center to be able to ground and stabilize us into the physical earth for us to have a healthy physical experience. So that's where the root chakra comes in. The root chakra is our foundation. It's our stability. It's our ability to anchor our higher light into this human vessel. If you guys ever want to go deep into the chakras, you guys can check out Light Body Awareness 101 on my YouTube channel. Go under playlist, and I go very in depth about the chakras and what they are and how they relate to our multidimensional human. So then, a good example too is if you are blocked up in your upper chakras but activating your lowers, then what can happen is we could become full of primal animalistic emotions and energies. And then while being full of these animalistic and lower nature energies, we don't have a higher sense of awareness, a higher sense of connection, compassion, empathy, the awareness that we are connected as one with the other beings that we are treating certain ways with our animalistic energy. So an example of this is you can find people that are heavily full of adultery, immaturity, sexuality, to where they're pushing it on people. They're breaking people's barriers with their sexuality. They're forcing themselves onto people. They're always aggressive. They're always looking for something to either be codependent or control. These are the kind of things that can manifest if we're bottom heavy, but then we're blocked up in our higher centers, because our higher centers is what gives us spiritual awareness outside of our own human self. So when it comes to, I'll also give this example as well. This goes back to if we are more top heavy but blocked up in the bottom, is that we could find ourselves developing a spiritual ego, or we can bypass our physical human life. If we're blocked up in our lower, but very active in the top. And with that spiritual ego, we can deny our shadows. We can also deny darkness. That darkness is part of duality. And then we can also be in a lot of judgment. We could be judging others that we feel are not on our spiritual level, quote unquote. So then with this being said, this brings us to the center, the heart chakra in the middle. You have the 7 chakras, the heart chakra is number 4. Therefore, it's the center. And then it says here on this image, the solar heart is the rainbow bridge between body and spirit. So after learning about and understanding about what these top 3 chakras are, and then what these bottom 3 chakras are, and now knowing that the heart chakra is the center and the bridge, the heart chakra is where it brings balance to these upper chakras and lower chakras. And it forms a synergy of mother and father, heaven and earth, flowing through the center of our human being. Because our human being is that bridge. It's the instrument and vessel for your higher spirit, your higher soul, to experience through the physical avatar that is made of the earth. Our physical body is made of the earth. Our higher intelligence and spirit is made of the heavens. So the more that we keep our heart chakra open, the more easier it'll be for us to have unconditional love, compassion, as well as empathy. Because in that center, this is where we have the full understanding that I am the above, I am the below, I am my neighbor is me. It's all fluidly one, 0 separation, no division. That's a healthy heart chakra in the middle. And this is why they say the heart chakra is the soul, so to say. Because your soul is all of these chakras combined into one and beyond, way beyond the human being. But when it comes to its attachment to the human vessel, that heart center is our closest thing to actually experiencing a soul connection with this earth world. So I think we'll just leave it there. Um, yeah, we'll leave it right there for now. Let you guys really digest that as we continue forward. But this really gives you one example of the importance of our chakras and what they actually mean in creation and why we have these chakras and what they represent. So I'll go ahead and hand it back to you.
I love that. I really love that, because here comes another question. And you're going to see how Ra is just like tuned in and tapped into us. I'm just like, it's yummy. Okay. It's like, this is like cheesecake for me with cherries on top. All right. The questioner says, let me make an analogy that I have just thought of. A 7-stringed musical instrument may be played by deflecting each string of a full deflection and releasing it, producing notes. Instead of producing the notes this way, the individual creative personality could deflect each string and proper amount in the proper sequence, producing music. Is this correct? Ra says, I am Ra. This is correct. In the balanced individual, the energies lie waiting for the hand of the creator to pluck harmony. Guess who's the creator? You. Energy is waiting for you to give it a tone, to tell it which string to pluck. Energy is waiting for you to create with it. It's your instrument. And I was using a card so that I could stay focused on the sentences to get back to where I needed to go. As I was listening to Marcus, I was enthralled. So I put this card there. I pulled it out of the deck and I put it there. And the divine says, read it. Here we go. The card's number is 50. If you're into numerology, 5. 5 means, 5 can mean many things, but for me, the divine is always saying to me, 555, change, evolution. Everything is going to change. That's for me. I don't know what it will mean for you. It says, others are not privy to your soul's plan and purpose for this lifetime, which are revealed incrementally. Soul contracts you have with individuals or companies or groups and places are highly personal. It's always smart to seek experts outside counsel, yet integrate that with your sixth sense, your perception, and lived experience wisdom. That you are always brought to the table of your conference call. You sit at the head of the table as the owner and proprietor of your story. You can seek others' help, whether it be psychiatrist or psychologist or therapist or shadow doing shadow work or anything. An instructor teaching history or people talking about old things that have happened in the past and giving you their perspective of how they believe the past went or how they believe it should have went. You are at the head of your table. You get to dive in where you need for your highest and greatest good. Go within for guidance. Within you. You want to find out which string to pluck, which harmony you want to allow to be part of your story, it's within you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. The questioner says, I would like then to trace the evolution of catalysts upon the mind, body, spirit complexes. That's you and me, not raw. Complexes, and how it comes into use and is fully used to create this tuning. I assume that the sub-logos that formed our tiny part of the creation use the intelligence of the logos of which it is part, and provides the base catalyst that will act upon mind-body complexes and mind-body-spirit complexes before they have reached a state of development where we can begin to program our own catalyst. Is this correct? I am raw. This is partially correct. The sub-logos offers the catalyst at the lower levels of energy. The first triad, these have to do with the survival of the physical complex. The higher centers gain catalysts from the basis of the mind, body, spirit complex itself in response to all the random and direct experiences. Thus, the less developed entity will perceive the catalyst about it in terms of survival of the physical complex, with the distortion which are preferred. The more conscious entity, being conscious of the catalyst process, will begin to transform the catalyst offered by the sub-logos into catalysts which may act upon the higher energy nexi. Thus, the sub-logos can offer only a basic skeleton, shall we say, of catalysts. The muscle, the flesh, having to do with the, shall we say, survival of wisdom, love, compassion, and service are brought about by the action of the body, mind, spirit complex on basic catalysts, so that to create more complex catalysts, which may in turn be used to form distortions within the higher energy centers. The more advanced entities, the more tenuous the connection between the sub-logos and the perceived catalyst, until finally all catalyst is chosen, generated, manufactured by the self for the self. So basically, your lower three chakras, you're in that. That's survival. I need to be taken care of. I need food. I need a home. I need to make sure that I have all of these. You can say, some say survival of the fittest. I must survive. The sacral, that takes you into seeing more of yourself as you're surviving. You start to think about it more. You start to make choices based on judgment, but that's okay. Your solar plexus starts to chime in and make vibrational, give you a vibrational orgasm about what you're choosing. As you start to, like my guitar, as I start to pluck the strings, and I stay on one bass string a long time, and then all of a sudden I find out that there are more strings that I can vibrate with. It's called evolution. Most people stay in the lower three chakras because it's comfortable. It doesn't take them out of their comfort zone. They're taken care of. They're surviving. Their food, warmth, shelter, they're doing the basics, getting married, having kids, growing up, getting old and dying. But there's a push, a catalyst that connects you to your higher being, which is your heart chakra. If you dare, the heart chakra is an unknown. You have to dare to go there. Think of it as like a school friend saying, I dare you to step into that. I dare you. I double dog dare you. And then you step in it, and all of a sudden you have this octave that goes off that says, ah. And then you're connected to your throat chakra. You go, what is this? I never knew it could feel like this. Now when I speak, I hear all these octaves. Where is it taking me? Why is it taking me? Every time I speak, I feel something new. Every time I speak, it doesn't feel like me. I'm tuned in and tapped in to something else that's, ooh, is that coming from me? The first time I ever heard my soul speak, before I started my light language, it spoke, but it spoke through my voice. And I turned around and looked and went, as I was taking my meditational bath, and I'm looking like, who came in? Did somebody just come in the door? It was me. It was a vibrational note that I stepped into. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's what the divine gave me to share with you. Can you take it beyond that? Did you feel something in the writing that the divine took you to that was not what I spoke just now? Infinite possibilities. Back to you, Marcus.
Infinite possibilities, baby. Infinite possibilities.
Infinite possibilities.
So I have another image for you guys. This image is going to help you see very simply what Ra is referencing here when he's talking about, I can't remember correctly exactly what he said, but he said that higher light or that higher consciousness is always trying to make its way through you. So the key is, how open and how clear are your energy centers? How open and clear is your auric field, so that higher light can continue to stream? And I was actually just talking about this, I believe, yesterday in a Sophia Christ Syrian meditation space that I held yesterday with a few community members. And what I had shared and came through me was, it's not that we really have to obtain spiritual light, or that we have to, become spiritual light. It's really more so of letting go of everything that is keeping you from remembering and being in the embodiment of spiritual light. So basically what I'm saying is that we're always in connection with the stream of the higher spiritual light, God, source, consciousness, however you'd like to describe it. So it's really more so of, how can we clear up the connection so that connection can flow through us more clear and more potent? So when we just focus on releasing traumas, releasing triggers, releasing dense thought patterns that are blocking up our energy, we let go of our attachments. All of these things are ways that let go of these energies so that we can become more clear and fluid for that conscious streamline. The conscious streamline is already knowing what to do, and it's already doing what it's meant to do, which is flowing through our middle being. And this is why, perfect time to pull up the image. This is why if you look here at this image, so if you look here at this image has, where you can see is a sliver of white light at the top above the crown, attaching to the crown. That sliver of white light is what Ra is referencing as that higher light consciousness that is streaming through us. So the more that we have the crown chakra, which is pretty important, this crown chakra is basically like the lid to the human being. It is where the higher light anchors and then drops into your human being. And this is why when you're meditating, when you're channeling, all these different things, you'll close your eyes and your eyes start blinking, start getting white flashes of light. That's because that's literally the higher conscious light flowing into your being. And you're just experiencing the effects of that when you're blinking your eyes, when you're seeing the white light and all these different things. So it anchors down to the crown. And you guys can even feel this right now if you wanted to intuitively. You can just focus on breathing while I describe it and just allow yourself to feel it if you want. But this white light travels down, then it anchors to the crown. Then through the crown, it starts to funnel down into the third eye, throat, heart, solar, sacral, and root. Now, this is a very by moment, circumstantial thing. Nobody is going to have 100% black and white, all chakras cleared, and then you don't have to do anything again. We're in a living free will realm. And part of being that living free will realm is, just like we were saying, responsibility and accountability of your vessel, of your auric field. And it's up to you, through your own actions of free will as a sovereign being, to do the things that will allow you to have a more clear connection for this streamline to flow through you. Nobody can do it for you. Now, you can receive help through practitioners and others, but they're only assisting you. They're just guiding you to do the things that you need to do in order for that connection to be more established. And then the practitioner is just assisting, just moving around some energy for you while you're still doing the free will actions internally. So there's many practices and many ways that you can clear up this channel for the higher light to come through. And you can do that through breath work. You can do it through Reiki, frequencies and guided meditation, detoxing, and eating very healthy nutrients. And then also yoga, exercise, and other conscious practices like Tai Chi and Qigong. These are all ways to help clear out the energy field in all these centers so that consciousness can flow through us. So this higher light is basically, it's source consciousness. It's your higher self. And as I was kind of saying just a moment ago, it already is conscious. Like, it already has the capabilities of knowing exactly what it needs to do and where it needs to go, because it is of source and it's the purity of source. And as human beings, I don't remember where I was reading this, I came across this, but Ra mentions it. It mentioned it earlier. It talks about logos. I don't remember where I read it, but it was talking about how while we're on Earth, we have these logos. And these logos are basically like representatives or archetypes. And we just use these logos in these temporary moments on the Earth and in other places to exchange and transmit higher divine energy into these realms. So it's literally like, this is another thing too. This white light, you can also think of your higher self coming into your lower body or your lower self. So the more that you have that connection clear, the more you're actually embodying your higher self while in your physical body. So with that being said, deep one. Gotta take a moment here. It was like right there and then it just went away. So when we so when we continue, and this is what we actually just do in our every moment and every day of our life, is we're constantly radiating energy into our outer world. And that's what you can see here happening with these ripples that they show. These ripples basically are caused because the light comes down into our crown and into our human vessel. And then our human vessel vibrating with the light becomes a transmitter, and it transmits the frequencies out of it into the environment and into your surroundings through the aura. And that's a basic and simple way of basically explaining how we are instruments of heaven on earth. We download light into these vessels, and then it transmits through different colors and different rays through our chakras and through our being and through our expressions. Now, how impactful are these actions? How impactful are these movements of energy and light with our vessel? That's going to depend upon how clear and how healthy your energy field is. So the more clear and more healthy your energy field is, it's going to be more expanded. And then the more expanded your energy field is, the more that you're impacting the energetic environment around you. And believe it or not, a lot of us can grow auras that are the size of countries and continents. And then our aura can then basically cocoon around our surroundings, depending on how far it expands. And that cocoon is now also continuing to anchor and transmit the frequencies of your human being. So that's why we do the work here. That's why we transmute. That's why we alchemize. That's why we be the bridge. Because we can impact not just our own self, but we can really alter and we can really impact not just our environment and surroundings, but our collective on this planet. And that's why they say, if you want to change the world, begin with changing yourself. The more that you clear yourself, the more you heal yourself, the more you get to be this radiant image right here, unconditionally and fluidly, without you having to think about it, without you having to force anything. You're just feeling it flow through you. You can feel the bliss, you can feel the ecstasy of being connected to divine while being in a lower dimension. Think about how potent and how powerful that is, and how much of a gift that is. That we can descend all the way into this third dimension, one of the most dense energies there is, but also be able to experience and embody heaven within a lower dimensional body. I mean, that is such a gift that we have as humans. And that's why we're very, very much cherished on this earth plane, not just by the earth, but by galactic councils, because they realize the potency of what we can do with these instruments, but it comes with great accountability and great responsibility. And to close out with this, and this is all goes with the contrast of life. So, if you're healthy and vibrant, you're going to radiate and shine these rainbow rays of light into the world. But if you're very polluted, very quote unquote sick in your energy, very imbalanced, then you're also still going to be a ripple and affect your environment. So then those ripples will automatically be rippling through your aura, unconsciously or consciously. And that's why we do the work. That's why we cleanse, and that's why we do spiritual hygiene, because we got to remember, just as we can be a positive impact, we can also be a negative impact. That comes with the duality of being a dualistic being. So again, accountability and responsibility. Back to you.
Accountability and responsibility. I think the wonderful thing about every book that I've read so far has filled or allowed my puzzle piece called life to change, to grow, to expand. And it also allowed all of my puzzle pieces to be upended, because the whole foundation of the puzzle changed. And we grow and expand that way. The one of several infinite things that I've learned is our higher being took on this form body to access this 3D realm. My higher being started playing in 5D at some point and got the opportunity to come back into 3D and play as well. My higher being got to make a choice of what polarity it wanted to play in. What if it wanted to play in the positive polarity or the negative polarity. I believe my higher being got to choose both. And through that, I maneuvered my physical being and my mind, my conscious mind got to make choices. And my higher being got to ask me questions through my feelings and through my emotions about situations and circumstances. The same situations and circumstances that my egoic system was bringing in from the outside world, saying, hey, what do you want to do with it? How do you want to address that? This looks like it might be part of your story. Where do we do? My egoic system gets to listen to me. It's only energy, and ask me, what do you want to do? And most of the time, when I was, as you might say, pre-programmed, it would go into my archives and bring up a situation or circumstance that resembles what I'm in at that moment, and say, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to try this again? And my higher being is saying, well, show me what that feels like. It's relying on me through my feelings and through my emotions of this duality, of this polarity, to show it what I'm feeling, because that's what it came here to do. It came here to feel, see, and be, seeking itself in form. It already knows itself and all that it is in formless. And as it is recalling itself coming from form into formless, now it's asking us questions through our feelings. We want to bypass our feelings. We want to go straight to being a higher being. We want to bypass being human. We want to go be Arcturian. We want to go be Palladians. We did that. Our higher being said, I did that already. Show me here. Show me now. It wants to move down into all areas of your chakras. It wants to reveal the light, and it wants to help you expose your shadows so that you can live them. You can feel them. You can have emotion about them, and then you can decide what you want to do with them. Oh man, I need to surrender that back to the divine. We've already had that story. I don't want that story anymore. I don't want to play there. That makes me feel, and your higher being says, make you feel what? That makes me feel, I feel like I'm not happy, or I'm not satisfied. Oh, is that what's not being satisfied feels like? Okay, felt it. We don't have to stay here. Moving on. You get to take what resonates for you. This is living life. Nobody can tell you how perfect is overrated, first off. But nobody can tell you how to live it in perfection. They can tell you how to live it in what their perception of perfection is. And then at some point, through your showing your higher being what that looks like and how that feels like for you, you can excel. You can not excel. You can descend, or you can ascend into the next thing that's going to be what's for your highest and greatest good, or you can just stay with what isn't for your highest and greatest good and stay there. There isn't any, I'll allow it to happen. There is a yes, let it be so. So with that, we end episode 46. I want to end it with this sentence from this book that I've read, Act of Consciousness, by Messages from an Ascended Master, called Adamus St. James. It was written by by Jeffrey and Linda Hopp. And it says, the chapter is called Walk Like a Master. You're the master of your own story. Vibrate like it, if you so want to. Energy responds to the act of consciousness. This means that energy literally aligns itself with your consciousness. And then the divine wants me to remind you that consciousness is aware. It's awareness that is aware, and you are consciousness that is aware. You may not know it. You may have just tapped in to this live right now for the very first time. And the divine wants you to know that you are consciousness, and consciousness is aware, or consciousness is awareness that is aware. You are, if you're consciousness, you're awareness, and you are aware. You're aware that you want to stay asleep, sleep. You're aware that you want to wake up, wake up. You're aware that you don't want to deal with certain situations or circumstances. They make you feel itchy. They make you feel uncomfortable. You get to layer them and bury them. That's your awareness. And the divine will say, let it be so. So take what resonates with wholeness and balanced love. I say, enjoy your Wednesday. Be the divine creator that you believe you were meant to be. Did you hear how I said that? That you believe you were meant to be. That not that somebody else was telling you you should be it. You decide you. Enjoy this Wednesday now moment. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. With wholeness and balanced love, I say, until next Wednesday, episode 47. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everybody. And Casey, I know you just popped in with us, but sending you love, sister. And of course, you can catch this replay on either of our Instagrams, or you can also catch the replay on our YouTube channels as well. Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, Soul Awakening with Sandra. And you guys can watch all 45 other episodes on there, all beautifully, divinely channeled alongside Ra. Figure out some of the secrets about some figures like Yeshua, Adolf Hitler, and some others back in the very beginning days of this book. And then learn about the chakras and how the chakras relate to different rays of the light. All the way up to recent, learning about duality, how polarity works, negative entities, and how we have an accountability to not allow negative entities to be able to match our frequency. So many gems throughout this whole series that you guys can tap into and really just rewire and come into different states of consciousness with. With that being said, you guys can join us next week on next Wednesday for 47, same time as always, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll see you guys then.
Yes.
Ye, who accompany the bearer to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of Ra, ever advancing onwards the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine, which standeth in the center of the earth. Behold, he is me, and I am him. Mine is the radiance, wherein Ta floateth over the firmament. I travel upon high, I tread upon the firmament of Nu. I raise a flashing flame with the lightning of mine eye, ever rushing on the splendor of the...
My third eye's open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My third eye open, I can see past the commotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm guaranteed to check like TSA. One in a million like